Hi, everybody. This is a special edition of Reach the Unlimited. And we have two very special guests with us today. And I want to encourage everybody to, if you're listening to this or listening on the live or listening in on the replay, to really take note about our subject because it's a very important part of life that I think that in today's time period we tend to forget. But it's about being kind and the acts of kindness. So as I have been talking to you guys lately about this book that's going to be coming out in November, I have two authors, and one of them has her gardener there.
Sorry.
Who's
That
one. Which is absolutely fine. You have a story about your gardener too. We'll get into that. Anyway, I would like to welcome my two guests today, Raina and Carolan. Could both of you, and we'll start with Raina, why don't you go first, introduce yourself and maybe talk a little bit about what inspires you to keep reaching for your highest limit.
Well, my name's Raina. It's Raina Irene on Facebook, and I'm a holistic health practitioner and a heart, soul, spirit practitioner. I work a lot in helping you guys reach, deep into yourself to pull through. I work a lot with grief now. I have had a tremendous blow in the last couple years where my youngest child went to spirit, and it changed a lot of how I felt about a lot of things. And so how I reach for my highest limit, is that what you asked me?
Yeah, what keeps you reaching for that highest potential in your life?
Always to connect to spirit and to see things from a perspective of love and of learning, and not I'm not going to say that's easy, and so you have to continuously press in to understand the journey. And so when we look down and look at only the ground, we can't see what's in front of us. So when we look up and look forward, then we can continue to move through. And so, but it's a process. So I guess does that answer?
It's your answer. That's the perfect answer.
Yeah.
Carolan, you have been on with me before, and I love having you on every time. So welcome back again today. And you saved me a couple weeks ago, so yay.
Well, thank you so much for having me back. I love it. It's always fun to talk with you and see where spirit leads us in our journeys together. Mm-hmm. And I think that for me, what keeps me reaching is serving others, mm-hmm. and my connection to spirit. Mm-hmm. And I'm finding too that the more I serve, the more work I have to do in my own life. And so all of those things intertwine, and then it kind of creates this need to keep working in my own life, to keep doing my own spiritual journey, mm-hmm. as well as being of service. Because if I don't do one, I can't do the other.
Exactly. That's a big one. I think that I've been really seeing that more lately, that inner work, and how important, if we're not doing that inner work, then we're really not of full service. I think that we're always of service, but we understand it better as we do more of our inner work, which is not always easy to do. Especially lately.
The process.
So we have been a part of this book, The Kindness Crusaders, which we've been talking about. What inspired both of you to decide to be a part of this collaboration? Who wants to go first? Either one of you. Jump in.
I'll go. Well, for me, I had done another book with Kim and mm-hmm. Carolan, mm-hmm. and it was very healing. It was very, I don't know, it was a really great energy that came around it. And it brought me back into being a part of something after what I had gone through. It was last year. Mm-hmm. And so when Kim had another book, I immediately wanted to join in, and because of the community, because of the topic, of course. The last book was gratitude, and now it was kindness. And there are thousands of ways to be kind,
Yeah.
To others, and then, back to ourselves. And so it was just, a beautiful project and collaboration to be a part of. And it brings so much community for a writer or for anyone. I mean, you don't have to be like an eloquent writer to be a part of something that, you have a voice for, and you believe in. So
Yeah. I think for me, being a part of the kindness journey was a really nice, I had such a great experience with the 52 weeks of gratitude journal that I wanted to just continue on with this next project, because it isn't just a book. It is about being there for the readers the entire year and supporting everybody on their journey in a team way. So all of the authors take a week, and we host a week on Facebook that we can be there for the readers. We can help share in their journey. And it's what I was saying before about the personal journey and being of service. They kind of combine, they go together. And so for me, I had a gratitude reawakening through the process, and I'm hoping that the kindness will also be the same.
So I'm glad you said that, because this is important to bring up. If you guys are interested and want to be a part of this Kindness Crusade, because it's not just about this book that we all collaborated in, it's about starting this movement of being more awake and aware of being kindness and how that's beneficial not only to ourselves, but to other people. The ripple effect happens. So if you want to be a part of this crusade, then join us on the Facebook page, Kindness Crusade, or Crusaders. I'll post it. I always forget if there's an S or not, but I'll post it in the link here, and then you can friend or like that that Facebook page, and then you can be a part of the whole year of kindness activities and what's happening, and all of that as well. So thank you for bringing that up. That was a good thing to share.
I have a question.
Yes.
Joanne,
Yeah.
what is ask the same question of you. What have you found, and why did you want to do the kindness project?
Well, I think for me, it was coming outside of my box and, being brave to share a story that I had. And really, it was being a part of that community and that movement and bringing kindness to the world, because right now there's so much hardship. And if we're not looking at the things that are more positive and more in the light, then we could become overwhelmed very easily. So to have a collaboration of everybody, 52, I think there's 53, isn't there, stories of kindness, that is just such light to the world and help people to be inspired, because everybody's going to have, and that's what I love about these collaborative books. Everybody has their own story that they're going to share, and it's seeing things from a different light, right? It's like I think of the Hangman. The Hangman seems to be in my life lately, but the Hangman is one of the cards in the tarot deck, and it's when you're upside down. If you don't know Hangman, you're upside down, so you're seeing things in a different way. You are not really bound. You think you're bound, but if you can maybe look at things from different angles, then you can maybe handle your life in a different way, right? So that's what I think that is so great about this collaborative book. Everybody has their own thing to share.
It's a form of support.
Yeah.
Because you read someone else's story and you've been conversing with someone, and then you read their story, and it's like an aha of who they are and their journey. And when it resonates with what's happening in your life, it like helps you process through what you're going through, and it gives you your own like enlightenment. Like, you're not alone. We all journey together. We're in this together. We're a woven tapestry of people that we woven together with our different stories and pains and experiences. And, we cross each other's paths in different ways. And when you read someone else's story of what they've been through or how they handled something or what they're grateful for, it really changes your own, it gives you a shift in your own perspective. And that's that inner work. I mean, just someone else's story is part of your own personal inner work.
Right.
So,
yeah, I really feel like all of us that were a part of the collaboration of this book are really going to be able to learn a lot as well as everybody else, because we're going to be sharing in each other's story. And really join the Facebook page, because to hear each author take a week and be able to work in that kind of, genre is going to be an amazing experience for the whole year. Something not to be missed for sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
How has kindness affected both of you? Tell a story maybe, or give a example in your life. Carolan, why don't you go first this time?
There's just been so many instances where I have thought to myself, if that person hadn't stepped in, if that situation hadn't have happened, I don't know where I would be today. So somebody's kindness can be just an open door, a cup of tea, a phone call. Those kinds of everyday kindnesses have been very impactful in my life at really pivotal moments, when it was like that phone call was a lifeline. So I find the small gestures of kindness to be so important and impactful.
I have to agree with you. It's the small things as well as the big, but those small things really touch you because they're given to you right at that exact moment that you really need them. So I love that. Absolutely. How about you, Raina?
Well, I mean, it's always important to be kind. My story talks more about being kind to yourself and remembering that you are important. And I think when we give ourselves grace through in the line of fire, so to speak, if I hadn't been kind to myself in these last couple of years, I would not have been able to find a way to share it and pay it forward and do the small little things. Because when you stay in, when you're hard on yourself and when you beat yourself up, it's really hard to give from that place of love, or just grace is maybe a better word. And finding grace within yourself expands your capability to see things from a different perspective, that gives you that space of kindness. And so, I mean, that's just my story. I mean, for me, I've always tried to look, from the bigger picture and not from, I mean, it's really easy to get caught up in the minutia of all the details of somebody's did this and that and the other. And it's that stepping back and saying, okay, I don't know their story. Allow them to be in their own journey, and understanding your own journey helps you to be in that space. I don't know, am I making sense? Be in that space, and so for me, my stories these last couple books have been a lot about the pain I went through, and Josiah, what I call leave planet Earth, because he's still just right here. But it was very devastating, and it was real easy for me to say, I shoulda, coulda, woulda, why didn't I, and stay in shame and blame. And I was, really beating myself up. And that's where I talk about, and that's on all sorts of situations, we do that to ourselves, but giving myself grace and saying, wait a minute, like, first of all, not everything's my fault, and that you just have to give yourself some own personal love and grace so that you can move to the next thing. And that's what the world needs to know, is that give yourself grace so that you can see, grace. Be kind to yourself so you can be kind to others,
My story also is about kindness to self. And I love how you talked about shame and guilt, because that's what really can bring us down, is feeling like going inward and seeing only what's inside of ourselves and not realizing that we aren't in control of everything. And when we have shame and guilt, that's just going to keep us there. So that's um, an important thing to be really looking at, and being kind. No, I think for me too, it was learning how to be kind to myself again, because I had lived so many years not being kind to myself that I had no idea that I even wasn't being kind to myself. It just was a normal way of life for me until I realized that I would do anything for anybody else around me but myself. And that's not healthy.
Right.
Yeah, that was big for me. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. What do you think are some of the benefits to being health benefits to being kind to others?
Well, I think that like gratitude, kindness begets more kindness, gratitude begets more gratitude. It's the law of attraction. But you become healthier because you're not fighting against the world when you're kind, when you're in gratitude. You're not in struggle, you're not in conflict. It doesn't mean that you're a doormat and that you just take everything on the chin. It just means that you have more understanding and compassion for someone who maybe is struggling, who you see. I think that because of our own struggles, I think those things make us more compassionate in general. But when we've been through those, then we can have a deeper understanding, show more kindness towards someone else because of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It definitely is like totally pulling out from ourselves and being able to help, for sure. How about you, Raina?
Well, we all know that it's a mind, body, spirit that we live. And so when you're not healthy in your mind, which is being ungrateful and being unkind, to yourself and to others, that's going to affect you physically. It's just going to happen. And so you might not even realize it, and all of a sudden you have a stomach ache, or because it's just everything starts in our emotional body. And so when we're not emotionally sound and we're not good to other people or ourselves, we're going to break down, and then we're going to get harder on ourselves because why am I sick? And so it can get worse and worse. So when you start changing the way you think and the way you perceive, your body will follow. It might take some time, and you might have to take, you're going to have to make some, dietary changes and some supplement changes, and, do some meditation. And there's a process to get well, but it's possible. But you will find more joy when you don't take everything so personal, and and be so hard on yourself. And I speak from experience. I'm not here going like, I've always been this way. No. I've got lots of more books I could write, so just on being, body shaming and, like hard on yourself, all that stuff. We're women. It's what we do, but to get to a point where it just being okay with yourself and knowing that we're not in control of anything. If I've learned anything in the last 2 years, is that I'm not in control of anything. Nor do I want to be anymore. It's just, and I'm not in control of other people's behaviors and the way they react to me or respond to me, or, it's how I respond. So it's being, you will get healthier physically and emotionally when you step into a space of being more loving towards yourself and towards other people. It's just going to happen.
Yeah. So. And there's really no way around it not happening, because if you're like, I guess I figure, or I see it like it all works together, right? It all starts happening at one time when we start honoring and respecting ourselves and putting ourselves somewhat first. For me, it was that, because I was no way I would put myself first. Right. It's that learning to kind of like calm all your nerves down. And kind of reevaluate what's going on around you, and it's kind of like the whole thing about kindness is the ripple effect. Well, it kind of works that way in your life as well.
Yes.
Where you start being kind to yourself, you start seeing that you're worthy of love, you're worthy of respect, you're worthy of being kind to yourself as well. and then it ripples out, and that also affects your health because you're going to start making wiser choices. You're going to start you're calming your nervous system down. But I think the biggest thing with the kindness that you exude outward is that you're opening your heart and you're giving of your heart, which also is going to help to heal your body by expanding that heart space. I think it's kind of like a ripple thing, I think.
Well, you come from a place of peace.
Right.
And, we all run around going, I just want peace. Why am I so, stressed? But that comes from, like you said, when you come from a place of peace, you do make better decisions and your body is calmer. The nervous system is calmer. And our body heals when we sleep, right? So when we sleep is when we're in the most calmest space. But our body can heal while we're awake if we give it that opportunity also. So.
Well, I think it comes too with what you were talking about with meditation and with eating, making wiser choices in your eating. It's all something that you start creating as you're being aware of what ways can I be kind? What ways am I being, like what you said, Carolan, about the friction, you're living in that friction state of being. And when you start realizing that you're living in that friction and letting it go, then that's when you start allowing your body to start telling you what it needs and start listening to it as well. Yeah,
one of the things, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
One of the things that I've discovered is that when you start doing the things that to be kind to yourself, like meditation, and maybe it's taking a break or going to a spa, whatever it is for you that you're taking time out for yourself, then you begin to realize sooner and quicker when you're off balance.
Yeah.
When there's needs to be an adjustment made, it's like, I'm getting cranky. It's time for me to check out a little bit, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Then you find ways to rebalance in a natural way.
And it is very important what you said about finding your own way, because we all have our own way of being kind to ourselves, of self-healing and taking care of ourselves. And you just need to figure out what it is for you, because not everybody's going to do the same thing or want the same thing. So there's no right or wrong to that.
Right.
Yeah, that's important. So I was thinking this morning about when I was first starting to come out of my anger time period and coming more into my inner work and being more at peace with who I am. Like you said, Raina, all these other problems with judgments and expectations of ourselves based on whatever we were taught. So for me, I was thinking this morning, is being kind something that you just do, or is it a habit that you have to create?
Probably both, because some people are just innately kind. They just don't have a mean bone in their body. And some people, because of the way they've, either been raised or some of the, hurts in their lives have become much harder. So they might have to work a little harder at releasing, because I think we all are innately kind. We all want to be kind. We all want kindness back. And life, really, hurts our soul. And it's the way we, some things are pain is pain. Yeah. But some pains are really much tougher to overcome. And if it's been, a lot of abuse or, things over the years, it might be harder, because if I'm kind, I'm going to get hurt. If I'm this, I'm going to get hurt. And so those are different kinds of obstacles that have to be overcome. So I think that it can, and just let's be honest, we're kinder in some situations than other situations, so it's a balancing act. Yeah. I mean, that's, I guess, my perspective. Would you agree? Oh,
yeah.
I totally agree with you. Do you want to speak on that, Carolan?
Well, I agree with Raina. I think it's some people are just more open than others, and some of it can actually just be some of it can actually be cultural. How kind can I be? If you didn't have that atmosphere when you were growing up, and maybe it wasn't respectful to be in someone else's space, to offer a kind word or whatever. I think people find different ways, I think, to be kind. And I think that you can do both. I think you can, well, there's a little bit of fear in there too, right? If I'm kind to someone, it might come across as like weird or creepy, if they don't know me well. So, I mean, there's the social part of it too. So there's a lot of different ways, but I just follow my heart.
Yeah.
If it's, and you follow your heart, you follow your gut, you just do what spirit leads you, and you'll never go wrong. That's the way I feel about it.
I agree with that, because everything you both talked about is so true. I mean, especially if you're in a very hard or abusive situation and you've now correlated being kind as a weakness, then that's going to be hard for you to overcome that. But again, that's coming back into your inner work and realizing that you're your own director of your own ship, or your own captain of your own ship. So you can take or not take whatever you want to. But I feel like the more that you're allowing yourself to show it, then the more you don't care what anybody else thinks. You react, like you said, from your gut, from your heart, what you see as a need. And you just not question it when you really get that hit that somebody, because one of the things that I noticed when I'm out and about, you can always find somebody who's really struggling. I mean, really struggling. And that's when you stop and say, let me give you a helping hand. And it doesn't show any kind of weakness to you. It's actually, I feel, very contagious. Don't you feel like being kind is contagious?
Yeah.
I do. And, one of the things that even in my private practice, I just say, okay, Spirit, if there's anybody that's in need, if there's a special, I ask that they if I can be of service, to send them no matter what. And I think that's incorporating those kinds of intentions into your day that just makes you open and available.
I think that sometimes too, when you are so burdened by the cares of the world, then you become like a horse with the blinders on, and you don't really see what's in front of you. And that's the time where you need to stop and breathe and just pay attention, because when you realize that there's more than just you and can see what other people may need, then you're going to actually help yourself. Again, we're going to go back to the healing. You're going to help yourself to heal. And it's baby steps, taking the baby steps from whatever you're coming out of. I know that there's many different ways of being kind to people. What are some of the things that you've done that has made the most shock and awe around the situation that you have experienced?
Well, I'm going to just start with, what surprised me was it was just a small thought of something that turned into something that was very big. Wow. And when I started, I actually had no idea where it was going. So I had visited a local domestic violence shelter, and they needed a place to meditate, and they didn't know how to meditate. And so we just got some people together and said, hey, we'll just do this informal class and see where it leads. And the next thing I know, we're creating a yoga program. We have yoga mats donated. We have meditation cushions donated. We've got meditation books donated, and they have a children's yoga program now. So it
awesome.
was just a small thing. Oh, they don't understand how to use their meditation room. So let's go do that. And the next thing I know, it's this huge thing. And it was awesome to see, because everybody was saying, I don't know how we're going to get the money for that. I don't know how that's going to happen. And it just blossomed into this. There was a lot of people that helped and donated and gave, and it was a heartwarming, wonderful experience to see.
That's just beautiful. That's very encouraging to people, because even for me, I've been wanting to do a couple different things similar to that. And it's something in my thought, and it's not in my action. And you actually did one small little thing, and it created a huge ripple effect. And obviously have really impacted many people now from what you did.
Right.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, I'm going to take any credit for that. That was all spirit. Seriously, it was all spirit and all the people that had an open heart that wanted to be a part of creating something for these ladies and their families. It was wonderful.
I hear what you're saying, and I'm not correcting you, but I'm going to correct you because that's what I do. You heard the call and you acted on it, and that's the key, because sometimes we hear things, right, and we don't act on it, or
Right.
we don't feel like we're capable of acting on it, or there's so many reasons that we think we're just going to do it another day. So yes, spirit leads all of our actions. Spirit leads all of, like, I call it my yes everything's, because it started out with a yes moment, a yes day, a yes month, a yes whatever, and now it's just like I hear spirit and I say yes. And you listen to that. But I really want to encourage people to pay attention to what just happened, because we all do that.
Right.
I hear you and I agree with you. But we are tools for spirit to use to help, to bring kindness to the world, to help change this world. And so if we're not listening, then we're not going to be able to be a tool. And so that's practice. That's really, I think, sitting in your quiet and listening when spirit's talking to you, don't you think?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Because you have to be able to hear because each one of us is going to have our own way of helping, our own way of giving, right? And so we have to listen to what is our thing, what is our niche in being kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
How about you, Raina?
Well, first of all, my son keeps touching my face, so you've seen me do all this. It's like he's irritating me. Like he's.
I'm sorry.
I'm not just wiping my face on purpose. So for me, next Tuesday will be 2 years, and I've had a profound experience with my son in spirit, and he's pushy. And so I've been writing a lot, and after the first year, right after the first year, I had gone on a retreat, and there was 15 of us, and I had already wrote my story in 52 weeks, and there was 15 of us at this retreat, and 3 of us had sons in spirit, and it kind of dumbfounded me. I had already met so many. I mean, the girl that does my hair, I mean, I have a lot of local people even, but I, wasn't one to like want to be in a lot of stuff on Facebook. I didn't want to even, it was my first year. I just hands off, and it challenged me to do something, because this was bigger than me. And so I kid you not, I felt like I needed to make a group, and it was right before Christmas, and I had my jacket on, and it was like maybe the 23rd, and I had my purse over my shoulder, and I started to shake, and like I had to go do it right now. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna go shopping. What's this? And I started to get this word lullaby, and I went, lullaby, and it was, and then either Josiah's spirit told me lullaby letters from our children in spirit. And I went, oh, and I sat down and I wrote out this storyline around it, of what our children wanted to give us lullabies now. They sing to us now. And I created this group online, and that has, maybe like 80, 90 women that have added in. I haven't been real pushy because I'm still, weeding my way through all this, and still a lot of work to be done. But I felt a need to reach the heart of the mother. I have a mother also who has 2 children in spirit. And my grandmother on my father's side had a daughter in spirit. And so I just feel very deep within the heart of the mother. And so I created a group, all of my letters, and continue to write and do some one-on-one counseling with grief, and hold. We're just about to put together a grief retreat down here by my house with another mother and so that's kind of the energy that shifted in me. So
wow.
you know. It kind of, I don't know, like part of me goes, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, and I don't want to. And then it's like, no, I have to. Yes, I do want to. And, you know, so it's like this push pull, but it actually, it makes, you know, you shift, you know, different situations in your life shifts your vibration. And when you can step into it to honor the shift, it elevates you, and it helps everyone. And so they help me way more than I could ever help them. You know, just being in their presence and having the opportunity to speak to any of these mothers or any of these people that are hurting helped me way more than I could ever help them. So that's the biggest shift that's happened within my circumstance.
I think that's a beautiful and very noble thing, because anybody can say losing a child is not even fathomable. And to be able to turn around that feeling to be able to give to other people is one of the greatest gifts that you could give to not only yourself, but to your son as well. And then all those people that are trying to, like you, man, just take one day at a time and not know where you're going and sift through it all and not really sure where you're going to land. But knowing that you're going to get to where you need to be, that's great courage.
Thank you.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Both of them are great courage too.
It's painful courage.
Yeah, it is. But you're helping too. Do you find that by you doing this group and talking with them and helping them, you're healing yourself to some degree as well?
You know, healing is a funny word, and my business name is Beauty, Strength, and Healing. Josiah, it's named after my 3 kids, and Josiah was the healing aspect because he was a healer himself. And you know, healing, I mean, it's just I don't know. It's like, yes, there's a healing process. Mm-hmm. You know, will I say I'm all over it? You're never going to get over it, but it's helping me to redefine my relationship with him, redefine, you know, what it means to go through this. My mother continues to teach me, you know, through this process. Mm-hmm. And anytime you give to someone, no matter what you've been through, if you take what you've been through and you use it to help other people, yes, it heals you. It helps you far greater than it helps them. I mean, it just does. So I guess yes is my answer.
No, yeah. I hear what you're saying about, you know, healing is not forgetting. Healing is not having to deal with the realities, right? But exactly what you said, which gave me chills, is that it's stepping beyond that to make some kind of sense out of it. You know, that's the part of it that's confusing, maddening, hard, and takes a lot of courage to do. And you were able to do that, and learning from that to some extent. That's what you're doing, and you're helping others to heal. You're helping them to be able to move on. Because I've known people that have lost their children and they stay in their dungeon. They stay in that darkness. They don't ever come from that and try to make something better out of that. And you're not going to change what happened in any of our lives. We can't change what happened. We can only try to help people to move forward and grow from that. And that's the hard part. I think that's the hard part. So healing doesn't mean you're all better and it's insignificant. That's not healing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's not going to happen. That's a beautiful, both of your guys' stories were just beautiful. And I hope that it's very inspiring for people to realize that we could be facing, like you're helping people that are dealing with abuse and, you know, a lot of hardships in their life, and you're giving them hope. And then, Raina, you're doing such a beautiful job in helping people to see that after a loved one dies, that you're not going to fill that hole, but at least you can bring light to help heal the physical part of what you're experiencing, because it's only in the physical that we're dealing with that.
Right. The most important thing is that our bonds continue, that he's still my son, you know, and that, you know, I still have 3 children, you know, that I birthed. and that that I can see him, and is it easy? You know, am I like walking on lollipops and sugar canes? No. Like, oh, no. You know, it's the unimaginable, and I'm present to it, and I have to live in that presence all the time. And so I searched for him, and in searching for him and finding him, it gives hope to other people that they too can find through my journey. If I can tell you, this experience happened to me, and this is how I know it was Josiah, and then you can go on and go like, oh, this happened to me. Now, I mean, it's not the same situation, but it makes sense now that that was my child.
Yeah.
That's all a mother or father, right. You know, that's all they want, is that to know that we still have that connection.
We have anybody in our lives, you know.
Anybody, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that we're close to or not. Usually that we're close to, though.
Yeah.
That's what we hang on to. And, you know, I know, Carolan, you're a medium. You deal with that on a daily basis. I never thought I would be a medium. I was like, yeah, not happening. And there you go. So,
and then Spirit has a different story for you altogether.
Exactly.
Like, hi, we're here.
It's been a journey for sure. I'm getting goosebumps. Yeah. But it's helping people to realize that, I call it the graduation. I mean, it sounds like it's trivial or like you're taking it lightly, but it's that soul's graduation to this, I think, gel type situation we have going on here. So it doesn't make it easy, though, because we miss them and our hearts are broken when they leave. So
absolutely,
you're doing such a beautiful work, and I know that we're not talking about this because we said for it. And we're not talking about the book you're going to be doing because we said we wouldn't, but we are. But you're doing great work in helping people that are experiencing this, and you're turning that lemon, sour, horrible thing into lemonade to the best of your ability. And that's what's so awesome about what you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, you know, he was a powerful force in my life, as all my children are. And I knew right away that I would never dishonor him. Carolan has helped me through a lot of my process, and highly recommend. And and just like what she's doing, you know, to step into that and to say, oh no more. You know, I'm going to make sure that you guys know how that yoga will bring, because it's all about finding a place of peace. We all want peace. We all want calm. We don't want abuse. We don't, you know, that comes with being alive. You know, that just comes with being alive. And so, you know, when you step into the role of any type of healing work, it really, it shifts you. And whether you're just healing you're working on your own personal, and you're a secretary, or you work at the bank, or it's just being more, it's raising your vibration to be a part of something bigger. We are not alone in this world. I mean, we walk alone, we're born alone, we die alone, kind of that theory, but it's not really true. No. We're born, you know, next to our mother, you know, with our mother and all the ancestors of our life, and we die back to them. And I don't even believe in the word die, but you're birthed back into them. And, you know, we're not alone. We have our spirit team, and we have each other. And when we can, you know, if the world would understand that we have together, we're woven together. It's not a spider web, it's a tapestry, you know, and we're woven together through the world of, you know, the things of our life, you know, and everybody's fighting over, you know, this religion or that religion. And, you know, the bottom line is, this is the great analogy of Raina, right? Giant mountain, and then there's the light on top, whether that's God or whatever you believe, right? On top. And on that mountain are 1 bazillion paths. And all of us people, and we go on this, you know, we're all on the same path to the same thing. And sometimes we cross each other's paths on that way, and we learn about your religion or your life or your whatever. And then sometimes it moves on, but we're all on the same path. We're all on the same mountain, and we're all looking for the same light.
Right.
And if people could just get a hold of that, then you know what would happen? Kindness. We would just give each other grace on the path. Give each other grace on the path to the same place, you know.
I agree with you, Raina. I think the most important thing for each of us individually is that spiritual connection, whatever that means to you. Because for me, all roads lead to the same place.
Exactly.
And so why are we fighting so much? You know, and we're just, I think that something miraculous happens with people when they make their own spiritual connection. It doesn't matter if it's through yoga or meditation or through group work, what Raina's doing, or through a mediumship experience. It doesn't matter how they get there. It's just that they get there. They get that connection for themselves, because that then unfolds everything.
Well, I really love the mountain analogy, because it really talks to the fact that, you know, I always like to call it as being the observer. You're the observer of your life, and you're looking at all the other facets that come into your life. But when you're the observer, you're not attached to it. And when you're not attached to it, you don't have to fight it.
Right.
And if you can understand that we're all on our own path, whatever that path is, but we all are getting to the top of that mountain, there's no way we're not, and we stop fighting each other, then I agree, that's where kindness comes from, because you're doing your own work, trying to do your own journey, because you have your own point, your own lessons, your own purpose for being here. And if we could stop fighting everybody else for what they're doing, and that's only what I call stay in my own lane. I don't need to be in your lane. I don't need to be in anybody else's lane. My lane is all I need to do.
Having a hard enough time driving myself, okay?
That's right.
Then we don't have to have all this stuff that's going on every day. But, you know, and that alone, for me, it's been such a peace to be able to not judge that, because I was at that bottom level too. I was fighting and angry and not trusting, and I thought the whole world was after me and the rug was going to be pulled out and I was worthless and blah, 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 blah. We all have those stories that run through our mind. And really it's, you know, for me, it was one, getting the education that I've gotten to be able to help people to overcome that. Two, it's been having really good mentors that have been in my life that have helped me through my dark places and my dark times, and just doing your inner work. And then you can come to the other side of realizing it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you believe, because you're doing you. That's all we need to do ourselves. That's so hard for people to get.
Well, and I think it seems when you put the whole concept out there, like it seems so huge. How am I ever going to reach the top of the mountain? But I don't know in a lifetime if we ever reach the very tippy top.
Right.
We just take the little steps to get up there, and it unfolds just by our intention.
Right.
And setting our sights on the light.
Right.
But then we just eke up there. And maybe it might take us 20 or 30 lifetimes to get to the light, or we get to the light in between lifetimes.
Right. That's the one ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
We already know we're at the top of the mountain, but we have to come through these lifetimes I don't know, there's controversy about. But you know, the one thing I've learned, we don't know what we don't know.
Exactly.
But when we get to the other side again, we'll know it all again.
That's right. That's
right. Now,
right.
we can just do the best we can with the knowledge that we have. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's true. You know, and at first I was like, maybe you're going above people's heads, but you brought it back to every lifetime. We're here for a purpose. Every lifetime, we're here for a lesson. And then we go back and evaluate. Yeah. So it's just a process. That's what you're referring to by going up and, you know.
Right. Yeah. You know, just the light is like, and sometimes when you're on that path, you kind of, you know, just think about when you're hiking or, you know, and somebody's coming down the path and you're going up the path and one of you has to step aside so the other one can go.
Right.
That's kindness. Just an act of kindness. And sometimes you like their path better, so you hop over the trail and go to their path, you know, like, but, you know, it's just, you know, getting up there, the light is just spirit. We're all looking for spirit, whatever that is. The light is spirit. And no, you know, you're right. We don't get to it because we're not in complete spirit form. But when we are, we're there, you know? So.
And I would like to ask the two of you if you would like to pull a card that you can share for everybody today and also say who wrote it. So you guys just pick who you want to, however you want to go about it.
I've got one here. This is from Lana Pummel.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful, start planting seeds of kindness in the hearts of your children. The hope lies within them. Water the next generation. So important, right?
Yes.
And the kids are like sponges. They just take up their environment, their atmosphere, what they're taught at home. And
that's the one you pulled.
Yes, it is. And that's just a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Great job, Lana.
That was a beautiful message. We need to remember that our youth are learning from us. And even though they come with their own purpose, they're still taking in and forming their ideas of life through our actions. So we need to be good examples to them and teach them how to be kind. And teach them how to exert self-love. And all of those things are so important. And water the seeds of the future.
Yeah, and one thing that I do want to mention about kids, the generation now, the toddlers and the middle schoolers and those that are starting into high school are so intuitive and so aware and so open that they take in even more. And so helping them to differentiate between what's theirs and what's somebody else's is really, really important.
That really is.
It really is. I've had to teach my grandkids, like, okay, is that your emotion? Or are you feeling someone else's emotion right here? Because I don't think this has anything to do with you, you know? So for me, I've got two cards because for one, I want to show you my card.
Okay. That's fair.
So my card says, kindness weaves through our hearts with golden threads filling in the broken lines.
Oh.
So like the old, I don't know if you've ever seen that thing where in Japan, when a glass or a bowl breaks, they will take liquid gold and they fill in the broken lines because they believe it becomes more beautiful because it's been broken. And so you have to remember that when the things we've done, we've all been broken. We're all bits and pieces. And when you feel with kindness comes in, gratitude comes in, and every time you give from your heart, it fills in the broken lines within yourself and fills in those broken spaces and brings healing, as we say. So
I love that.
That was my card. And the card that I pulled is you must show kindness. You must show yourself. That's what we're talking about. Must show yourself the kindness you desire in life, and others will reflect back to you what you feel in your heart. So remember, we attract people to us that mirror how we feel also.
Right.
So when we feel better about ourselves, when we're kind to ourselves, when we elevate our energy, those are the people that we actually, like, the other people leave. They just don't want to be around us, you know, because their light is a little duller.
Right.
But also, on the second hand, when you elevate your light like that, people are drawn to your light. And so you can bring those people up also with you. So
the ones that want to come, some don't want to come.
Some don't want it, no, and that's hard. But again, get on your own path. You know, like that's their own path. And it's hard, you know, I mean, I don't know if you're all, you know, just being a mother of adult children, you know, you're like, what are you doing? And then you're like, oh, wait, that's your path. It's not my path, you know, or, you know, any of your friends, you know, you're like, oh, what are you doing? Like, I got to stop you. No, I don't, because that's your path, you know. If you want my help, I'm here, you know, so.
That is so true. I think with our children, it's even harder.
Oh,
because
definitely.
they're children, right? And you're thinking, because you don't want to see them go through the pain you see them walking towards. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I totally have to repeat that message in my head. I don't know how many times, like, nope, not your thing, not your problem, not your trouble. Nope, let it go. Let them do their own thing. They're old enough. They're not 5.
Well, and that's how they're going to learn. And that's how they're going to, with any of us, you know, if my mother had tried to jump in at certain things when, and I'm sure she did, but you know, I wasn't going to listen because I
Right.
had to go through my own journey. It was mine. And there's a certain point where there's an energetic shift when
Right.
you become an adult. And so, and that's, you know, I always, when I speak to mothers with people, my children are in their 30s now. So
Yeah.
when they were in their 20s, it's like a big tug of war because you're used to teenagers and you go through this tug of war energy, you know, and then you shift and they shift and you go into adult, you know, the next level. So
Yeah.
side note. So
I want to read the one that I pulled from Marian Andrews, and it's the opportunity to be kind is everywhere if you are looking. So you have to be looking. Oh, I thought I had my mirror thing on and I don't. How interesting is that? Sorry, it's backwards. I usually have my mirror thing on and somehow it's not. So it was backwards. So that's beautiful. There, if we're not looking, if we have the blinders on, like we were talking about the horse, then we're not going to see the opportunities that are in front of us. And if we do hop on those opportunities, when I've done it, what really blows me away is you see the vibration in the room totally change, or wherever you're at totally changes, and people look at you like, who are you? You know, I've had it happen so many times and they're just like, okay. But you're also putting like the seeds again, right? You're putting seeds into their mind of being kind and looking for a way that they can be kind for somebody else.
yeah.
Yeah, that's big.
So can I do another card? I found this really awesome one.
Please.
It's by Joanne Eisen. And it says, kindness is given in love, no obligation, smile, touch, no judgment. Acts of kindness are never wasted. That's beautiful, Joanne.
Thank you. I really believe if we can stay in observer mode and not have judgment, that this world would be such a better place, you know? But we always have a lot of times, like when I would do something, I'm the kind of person that always is naturally kind at heart. You know, I'm always going to help somebody or do whatever. But when you're not replenishing, which is more of what my story's about, replenishing yourself, you do that because it's in your nature, but you also have resentment from it, or you also expect something in return from it because, gee, look what I'm doing. Look at all Mother Teresa I am, which I'm not, but you get the point.
Yeah.
And then that's not really beneficial to you or anybody that you're helping. So it's really having that giving flowing through you, kindness, love, compassion, peace, giving, caring, gratitude. And it just keeps flowing and coming back to you. So when you can stay in that non-judgmental attachment, then you can just let it flow through you freely and there's no expectation from it. And that's really true happiness for sure. Yeah.
Well, let's do Carolan's card. Come on now.
Please, thank you.
Kindness is presented in surprising and unexpected ways.
Mm-hmm. I think I posted your card on my Reach the Unlimited.
Oh, did you?
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah.
And I do it
true.
randomly. I just shuffle them, and that's very true. It's a very important card.
It
Which
really
brings me
is.
to my gardener.
Oh no, you got to tell
the
you
story.
have to tell the gardener story. That is so funny that this happened on a kindness day.
So this morning, my gardener was supposed to come like yesterday. And so he sent me a text and I sent him a text back and he said, I'll be there in like 5-10 minutes. So I'm like, that would have been an hour before we were supposed to meet. But then when I was working and getting ready for a meeting, then I kept hearing this noise outside and I went and looked and my gardener was at the neighbors and he trimmed their rose bushes. He did their whole front yard and I'm waving my hands at him going, you're at the wrong house.
I love
So
it.
my neighbors got a random act of kindness today of getting their yard done. And so I was telling Joanne and Raina that I'll just put a little something extra in his stocking at Christmas to try to make up for that.
Oh, that's
So imagine they're going to come home and think that the fairies were there.
yes, exactly right. I love
You've elevated them.
uh-huh.
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
So this is really fun. Do you, either one of you, have any last message you would like to share?
I don't have a last message, but I would just like to say that it's been an honor to be with you ladies
Yes.
today and everybody that's been listening.
Yes.
Absolutely. And if there's somebody out there that's has a child in spirit and wants to connect with me, I would be honored to be there and for you to be here. So.
Yeah. Why don't both of you put your information in the chat after this? When it's posted, it will be up right away, but just put your information there and then they can get a hold of you, because you're two fantastic, awesome people. And I want to say how much gratitude I have for you guys being the first of all the authors to come on, for you guys sharing your time with me and coming on and sharing this really important topic. And it's been a great joy to communicate.
Thank you. Thank you for asking. I'm honored to have your friendship. Carolan, I love you. I love you both dearly. And it was just, thank you so much for including me.
So one last time, if you would like the deck of cards with the bracelets and the pin, then just message me or put yes, please in the chat, or email me at joanne@reachtheunlimited.com, and I will send you, I will do a drawing and then Monday, and then send the cards, and I'll announce who won it. And go out there today and find all the possible ways that you could be kind to other people, and always reach for your highest potential. Don't dumb yourself down. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks.